All right, guys, we just have a ton of information that just dropped from Marvel Rivals. So let's go ahead and check out every single thing. First things first, today, dropping today, I wouldn't say dropping, but showing today, some of your favorite streamers, not me. You can change that. Come on, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, come on. Twitch, yeah, get on there. Yeah. But today you can actually go watch a complete kind of special secret stream that's going to be probably setting up what the characters are doing, new Emma Frost drop and gameplay, new maps, that kind of thing. Tim the Tatman, flats. I mean, a ton of people. Look at it. Look at it right here. Look at it. Just look at all that. If you like them, go watch them today. All right, next up we have new costume colors, new ways to give costumes to people. That's kind of awesome if you have friends who can't afford stuff, or you just want to be nice to people. You just want to throw them a little gift. You did a good job. Here's a little costume action. You can now do that. The devlog kind of explains more here.
In Season 2, we're excited to announce that we will begin adding new color options for some of the more popular costumes, providing even more opportunities for personalization.
It's pretty sweet.
Additionally, we're introducing a new feature that allows players to gift costumes to their friends.
But can we talk about that Ronin costume? Like, that's just a little quiet little tidbit of legit so good. I don't like Hawkeye. He's not a good player in my opinion, or not a good character, but that's so sick. Oh my god. And it looks like they're updating a lot of the team ups as well. Like Dimensional Shortcut will no longer have Psylocke in it. Ammo Overload won't have Winter Soldier in it. Chilling Charisma no longer has Namor. Gamma Charge actually adds Namor and takes out Doctor Strange. So that'll be super interesting how the balance works on those. All right, they're also doing some big changes to each individual character too. Captain America, you can see here, he's going to be having a reduced base health, and the shield values actually of his Living Legend ability. So it's resilience kind of going to come down. All those caps are jumping back line, just being a nuisance and then running back. You might not have that as much. I think you still kind of will. Doctor Strange actually offensively is going to go down, which kind of sucks. I've really liked using him lately. All of his daggers are going to go down in damage, and then his Maelstrom is the conversion ratio to the damage is going to go down, so it'll take longer to build up that Maelstrom of madness. Hulk, somehow he's getting a buff. He's going to be increased movement speed. What? He can jump a mile and a half. He can just hold down the jump button the entire time. So, okay. Reduce cooldown time for Indestructible Guard, which is wild. And then minimum charge time for his leaps is actually less. So now he can jump even more. I think this is too much. I really do. A good Hulk that can jump back and forth already is crazy. But doing it even faster now is going to be a problem. See, Magneto is a weird one because they're actually going to turn down his ultimate ability frequency, but because they increase the cost of it, but they're giving him additional team ups with, I think they're changing the team ups with Wanda, and they're going to change up or add the team up with Emma Frost. So that'll be exciting. My main, Penny, let's go. Enhancements, primary attack, let's go. Yes. Base health increased 100. Wild. And then web clusters now can crit, which is awesome, and then reduce movement speed of that web cluster too. So the thing, that's so kind of sad. They're actually doing a little debuff on him. His little jump to and friends as embattled leap. They are reducing the overall reduction effects. So the shields they give from 30% to 25%. Not a huge amount, but enough because that's pretty clutch when you need it. Thor, he needed a buff. I don't like using Thor, but Thor's were like the least problematic tank, unless he's in like super electric mode and like, pew, 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 pew. But otherwise, his health's going to go up to 600 from 525, and then his movement speed's getting an increase. That'll be kind of nice because Thor is kind of clunky. So Black Widow, I think it's objectively, she is the worst character in the game. So they're trying to give her some more optimizations. So they're adding a new effect, it looks like, that is going to assess with her. She can shoot right after her ultimate ability, so and after a kick too. So that's going to be interesting to see. I don't see a lot of viability there, unfortunately. All right, Hawkeye, with the Ronin skin that we just saw, this might actually change some things. So slow effect's going to be reduced, so his movement speed is going to be increased while charging his bow. Increased damages for his hypersonic arrows, which is kind of wild. And then he's actually going to get a huge buff for his ultimate. So he's going to get a decrease in overall cost from 3,700 to 3,100, which is, you're going to see that a lot if people start playing him. So that's going to happen a lot. And then his bow is going to actually increase in speed even faster with his shots to hit his hunter sight targets. So he's going to be a mess, I think. It's going to be a problem. So Hela, we'll see, unfortunately, some movement reductions, which kind of sucks because her movement beside like the flock, her astral flock's good, but it's not fantastic, So they're actually increasing the cooldown by 3 seconds. That's a lot. They are also increasing her field damage of the piercing knight, which is pretty cool. The little ball that blows up. It's kind of sick. 30 to 35 damage. That's pretty nice. And then they are decreasing her cooldown time for soul drainer. So I think that's pretty good. That's not a bad change. She's a problem sometimes, not as bad as season 0 where she was OP as hell, but we'll see what happens. Now Human Torch, reducing attack intervals for his fire cluster by 0.1 seconds. So that's pretty good. It's a pretty big jump down. So you're going to see some more of those. And then increasing the cooldown for Flaming Meteor, which kind of sucks. I thought it was kind of slow anyways, because it doesn't get used that often, but they are adding a new effect of it. So if you use, after release Flaming Meteor, you gain 75 bonus health. So that's kind of a nice. It starts to fall off though. But that's really nice because you're literally up in the shit. So it's like, hey, you jump down, bam, you have 75 health. Now get out of there with circle or whatever the button is on freaking PC. All right, Iron Man. You're going to have some reduced hitbox size. Okay, that's pretty good. So it's going to be more survivability, more ability not to get hit. Great. And then you gain 100 bonus health when you activate your overdrive in some manner. So that's kind of nice because it takes a second to activate too. So getting that health, that quick health is going to be kind of clutch. All right, they're boosting Iron Fist, I think, to be more like Wolverine in terms of his tanky ability. Ability to take on tanks. Yeah, there you go. They're reducing his bonus max health from Harmony Recovery, but it starts slowing off slower. So that's kind of nice, or falling off slower. They're increasing the percentage damage of enemy's max health per strike. So what happens, it's kind of like Wolverine's at that point. So his damage will be based off the max health of the target. So it'll go down, the base damage will go down, but the overall damage will go up for against tanks. So he might start becoming a tank destroyer. And they're also reducing his cooldown for his kicks. So he might be a problem for tanks. Now, Mr. Fantastic, though, is getting a huge freaking boost, man. Health, huge. Going to be a big increase from 350 to 375. Damage boost for both his stretch punch and when he's in the inflated like super jumbo state, from 60 to 65 and then 75 to 80. So he's gonna be even stronger. New effects are actually gonna go into effect too, with his slowed effect for flexible elongation. When he springs out, grabs somebody, like you can throw them into each other, that kind of thing. So 35% slow effect for that. And then the cooldown's also dropping. And then he is reducing the overall elasticity gained, it kind of seems, from 30 to 20, but he's also still getting additional bonus health when he's in that too. And finally, the actual Brainiac bounce, his ultimate ability, right, is going to have extra health bonus. So he's already kind of hard to kill when he's in that anyways. Now it's probably going to be impossible to kill him while he's in his ultimate. Almost like Psylocke, where it's just like, yeah, you can't do it. Too bad. Now Moon Knight. Moon Knight's been kind of a problem anyways. They're kind of buffing a lot of these characters that might not need buffs. So I'm kind of seeing a theme here. They're doing some big changes at the beginning of this season, and it's kind of like it'll be kind of interesting to see how viable these changes are, or if just everyone's just more dangerous. So games are just faster in deaths, and could be actually faster in overall time limits, because you kind of just kick in and kill people really quickly. So his Crescent Dart, speed 120 to 150, so that's the big one he hurls as an alternate to his main attack. And then his normal attack for every bonus health for 25 for each enemy hit. So I'm like, I don't... it starts to fall off after, a rate of 20 per second, like after you increases to the max, but to get bonus health from just hits is crazy. Then his hooks going to be faster, which is kind of cool. And then overall, they're extending the duration by a whole second for his Hand of Khonshu, which is wild. And it's going to increase the number of talons too. So it's like, they just increased the damage of those. So now you're pretty much gonna die if you're in the middle, period. A little bit of a damage fall off, but I really don't think it's that much compared to what they changed. Okay, so Wanda is gonna have some increased survivability, hopefully. So especially during her ultimate. But she's also getting abilities with Magneto and I think maybe with Frost too. So we'll see what happens there. But she's getting some new abilities in general. And then they're also removing the overall chaos control percentage, but they're increasing to a fixed damage. So instead of 60, go up to 80 per second, which is actually pretty decent damage. And then so she'll be pretty liable, I think. Her little burst ball she sends out, it's going to go up to 35 to 40, and then the field will also still cause stop, I imagine, and then also have that 35 to 40 damage now instead. She will have some cooldown increases and slowdown for her phase, so she won't be able to get out of damage as well. So survivability is kind of a mixed bag right there, but in her ultimate, what they're kind of balancing that with, she's not going to be slowed down immediately at the start of her ultimate like she is now until, I think it's going to be 1.5 seconds after that. So it's like, okay, you have 3.5 seconds total for it to happen, for that kind of charge up and then explode. But the first 1.5 is normal movement. So that could be pretty nice for her. Still overall viability with that. If you really have to have perfect kind of timing for those ults, because her ultimate is so good, but also it's one of those things that you can kick her out of it. As a Penny main, do it all the time. Star-Lord, they're just hurting him. They're just hurting him. His ultimate was really good. Don't get me wrong. One of the best ultimates. You could easily get at least 1 or 2 picks, especially if you can go after healers or supports, whatever. Strategists, sorry. But the overall damage is going to go down from 80 to 75 per second, and then the fall off mechanic. So if you're firing out more than pretty much being next to the person, they're not going to get hurt comparatively. Winter Soldier, interesting changes. Increasing the hook time from 8 to 12 seconds, which is pretty significant. A 50% increase, that's pretty large. The hook I thought was kind of slow in the overall cooldown anyways, or like the top end of cooldowns, with the exception of like Strange, just Portal obviously, but overall they're doing that with the reducing the base damage of his ultimate, the Kraken Impact. But the overall threshold now for the kill or the death or whatever is 15% of the max health. So, all right, we'll see what happens there. I don't know how often will we still hear again. We'll see. All right, for Wolverine, they're tuning a little bit of the way he gets his rage. So he gets some extra passive abilities and healing and that kind of thing. So the cool thing is like Savage Claw is getting increased, but they're decreasing Berserk Claw, which I think is a good balance comparatively. You get 3 extra from Savage Claw and 2 less from Berserk Claw. But the Feral Leap rage gained is getting cut in half, which is kind of a lot. So they're increasing rage from damage, which is good. I mean, that makes sense. The dude's gonna get mad when you shoot him, right? But I don't know that, and then they're also reducing the enemy knockdown after impact. So it was only 1 second. They're reducing it to 0.75. So after he hits you with that, you typically died. Let's be honest. If he got you one-on-one with that, unless you're a tank, and even then, sometimes he still killed you. 0.75 seconds, I don't think it really matters at that point, unless you just like get rid of it completely, or it's half a second, you're like, down for a second, and back up. I don't know. I don't see the changes being that crazy for him overall, with the exception of that Feral Leap, not getting any rage from that. All right, strategists, moving on to them. Adam Warlock. They hate him. They don't give him a fly ability, right? He already has cooldowns for any healing he can do. He has some damage potential. I get it. But they're increasing Soul Bond from 30 seconds to 40 seconds. That is so long. That is so long. And then they are thankfully turning Karmic Revival, his ultimate, into a little bit more viable for reviving tanks, especially. So they're doing 30% of the total health rather than the fixed 100, which across the board did not help tanks. They died immediately. Cloak and Dagger. Kind of a cool change. They removed the stacking ability last patch, right? So that kind of sucked. I love Cloak and Dagger, so it kind of sucked. But instead, what's happening now, you kind of see that all of them kind of go based off of the first lane that you send out. That first lane you send out, the timer starts then. What they're now doing is the duration's extending to when the last lane goes out, and then all of them disappear at the end of that one. So I think the overall, her ultimate is actually going to be way more viable, especially pushing past targets or towards the back line or something like that. If you're trying to get a full lane up to get your tanks in there a little deeper, without having to worry about healing them all the time, might be a pretty good strategy now, because at the end, it won't just go. I've noticed it going away pretty quickly. So now it should stay around a little longer to have some playtime with her ultimate. So overall, not a bad change. Invisible Woman. They're not doing a ton of changes. They're just decreasing the overall shield value from 300 to 250. So half the time, people don't even use the shields anyways, right? You put it out in front of them, they run away. Flying people, like the flyers out there, the storms, the human torches, you throw it out there for them, like, hey, buddy, stay behind it. And they're like, anyway, so I'm not hating on you DPS people, but come on, like, use the shields we give you guys. So that's not a huge change, good or bad for her. I don't think it's going to matter that much. Now, Loki. I admittedly have never played Loki. He is the one character in the game I just will refuse to play, only on principle of never playing him to begin with. So I want to have one character I will just never play. Ever. If I find, like, say, if I do one of those clone matches and both teams pick Loki, I'll quit. I will not play as him, just for principle at this point, because he is the only character I haven't played as. Mainly I forgot about him at the beginning, and I just never will at this point. But they're adjusting his regeneration domain cooldown. So from 25 seconds they're increasing his cooldown from 25 seconds to 30 seconds. So that kind of sucks, because I'm pretty sure that's his, what do you call those little thingies? Lanterns, which are really nice. I don't even know what they're called because I've never played them. But if they're the lanterns, and that kind of sucks, because I didn't feel like was a great healer. All right, Mantis. Kind of a big change. Overall health going down a little bit, but her buff mechanics can now stack. So she can throw out healing and the inspiration to a maximum of 16 seconds. That's a huge amount of time to either have a slow heal on or just to have that extra damage boost, versus I think it was like 4 seconds as the normal one. You have to keep kind of doing it. So if you just stack it on one person that you know is going to rip through anybody, you have a Rocket, Mantis combo just to buff and give unlimited ammo to Punisher. And since he can only get that infinite ammo with Rocket now, since not Bucky, but Winter Soldier's gone, it kind of can be that could be a huge combo. Overall, her healing's good. Like, you just see Mantises typically have tons and tons of assists because of that inspiration, that damage boost. Now, Rocket. They're making quite a few changes to Rocket. Good or bad, I don't know. I think his survivability is going to go down, which will make him probably easier to kill for everybody else. But he's also gets some good healing now. So biggest thing people hated about him was he didn't have that burst effect that, your Luna's ultimates and Cloak and Daggers and that kind of thing have. But now, could have some potential to be even better. Than people are starting to turn around a little bit and be like, oh, Rocket's pretty good. Because if you spam it, you spam his heal, and it's annoying. It just bounces off the wall. You're like, doop, 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 doop. But it does some pretty good healing over time very well. They're reducing that from 70 to 50 per second, but they are giving you one-time heals of 55 as it hits you. So that's kind of, I think, a game changer for that. They are increasing his cooldown for his jetpacks, which sucks. He's pretty mobile, and it's kind of cool to have that. But you can tell I'm a little bit biased, I'd say, but not really. He's not my main support character, but it just like kind of sucks. And the overall distance goes down too. Now his ultimate's getting the biggest change. Overall damage boost is going down, which made him one of the cooler characters to actually have on the team as like a third support character. But they're adding a different effect now to give you 100 bonus health per second, which is cool. And it caps at 150. So if you're in that link, now he has the ability to do burst heals and give you damage. So I think Rocket might be the main, might be the guy to do. You can now probably run 2, not to worry about a third healer or third support when you have a Rocket on your team without any issues, and him still being viable with damage output, because his damage isn't terrible. So, just saying, might not be a bad option. All right, team up abilities. All right, huge changes happening here. Arcane Order, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch. Kind of a cool combo, both magicals. I mean, hell, the whole movie of the Multiverse of Madness, right? It's both of those. So they team up, and Doctor Strange gets a health increase of 100, so pretty flat. That's nice. And then Scarlet Witch unlocks a new magical Mystic Burst. So we'll see what that damage looks like and what that ability looks like, but that kind of sounds cool. If it's anything like his that just shoots out, I don't know if it'll be based off like damage received, or maybe how she does her full sucky, and then when she does enough sucky, it explodes. I don't know. Guys, what is wrong with me? Stars aligned. How this wasn't a combo at the beginning. Why was Captain America and Bucky, Winter Soldier, literally best friends growing up? How were they not also a team up in this game? I don't know, but now they are. Captain is the anchor, so he gets maximum health increase of 105% damage boost output. They're already kind of debuffing him on some of the other changes, so I think you kind of have to have a Winter Soldier if you have Cap on your team now. And then Winter Soldier gets a new just ability, Stellar Impact. I don't know what it's going to be, if it's going to be some kind of throne thing. If hell, he throws a shield, that would be kind of sick. Or if it's a jump kind of ability, I don't know, we'll see. Could be a jump ability. I think that'll be kind of cool if it is. Now, Emma Frost. This is the first one we've seen from her in the update, really. So mental projection. Emma Frost is the anchor, and then you have Psylocke or Magneto as anyone getting advantage on that. Emma gets Emma Frost. I don't know, I should call her Frost. Frost gets maximum increased health of 100, which is very cool. Magneto receives magnetic resonance. And then Psylocke receives soul resurgence. Not sure what those abilities kind of can sound like doing. With Magneto, I wonder if it's some type of almost like his ultimate, where he can pull in all incoming damage maybe and gets like overshield type of thing. And then Psylocke, maybe it's just a revive. You know, we need Revivify, right? This isn't Boulder 8-3, what the fuck? And then sadly, some of the changes they're making to team ups. Ammo overload, Winter Soldier's gone, just Punisher. Chilling charisma, no longer Namor, no more frosty squids. But he is getting a gamma one, so I imagine it's not going to change anything, just the color. Dimensional shortcut, Magic and Psylocke. Psylocke's gone from that, just Magic and Black Panther, but Psylocke is getting an ability with Frost, so that's kind of balancing that out. Gamma charge, Hulk, Iron Man, and Namor now. So Doctor Strange loses his ability with Hulk now, unfortunately, which is really nice. But Namor now gets Gamma Monstro, so that goes to his ultimate ability, or does he get like a mini whale maybe? He just throws out a mini whale. A narwhal. Ooh, let's go. Metallic Chaos. The only reason to use Scarlet and Magneto, in my opinion, the only reason to use Magneto is gone, which is sad. I'm hoping the change up top that we kind of saw with Frost will bring back some kind of efficacy there. And then they are scrapping the Thor, Captain America, and Storm mix, unfortunately. Which is kind of sad. I like that one. All right, that is all of the updates specifically, but we're going to check out one last thing here. Emma Frost.
The White Queen's reign begins.
Okay, so one thing, her kind of blast she has seems to be like a medium range, but it's also not auto-locking. like Scarlets and kind of cloaks, cloaks to attack, not daggers. So that's interesting. You can see kind of off the rip, she has 650 health. That's a chunk, pretty chunky tank. And she has something in the corner here that 500. I don't know if it's a shield or something that's going on the left that you can kind of see right here. And she's charging up something in the middle that's similar to like Strange and like Wolverine's Rage, that kind of thing. So let's see if we can see what happens with that. Oh, she has like a shootout shield, very similar to not Siegfried, but whatever the guy is from Overwatch. I like playing as him too. It's kind of cool. But you can shoot through it. That's a big difference.
You were beneath me.
It can block. Everything can block Iron Man, apparently. He's a loser.
Impervious. Pathetic.
No, she straight up just gets an invulnerability. That's what that is. She just has invulnerable skin for how long is this cooldown? This lasts 5 seconds. We don't talk about jiggle effects, fellas. Don't. Thick thighs save lives.
That's white.
Okay, let's rewatch that. Was she pulling them in and also doing damage?
That's white queen mind control.
So it's actually like a slow effect. They were trying to move toward her, and you can't jump or get out of it. So you can't escape. You're slowed down. It worked on Thing, which he's unmovable. So it can't. Yeah, it couldn't have been a pull-in effect because he's immovable. So they had to show that on purpose, kind of thing. So yeah, it's just slow effect, and you can't jump out of it. So it's like, oh, that's what they just died when they fell down. So yeah, there you have it. Season 2, Hellfire Gala. Gonna have some other events going on at the same time. Ultron seems to be as a big part of that. It's gonna be kind of cool. He's the big bad in this area, like Doom was, and then Dracula. I really hope he's a playable character, though. That's the thing. All these guys, I would love for them to be playable characters. But we'll see. I think we should talk about the skins at some point, too, because these skins are fire. Oh, my God. I hope all of them make it. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you checking it out. And, let's have some fun. Bye.